So hello, my name is Rob and this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and in this video I'm going to be taking this piece of scenery and showing you 4 easy ways to up your weathering game. Now when it comes to bits of scenery like this, in regards to how this looks already, I've done this before. I will link the video in the pinned comments below about oil washing. That's all it is, some selected colours and some oil washes. It's nothing too fancy. This video is going to push those methods a little bit further just to help you. You can apply them to miniatures and things like that as well, but for this video I'm going to be using scenery. Once again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get started. So I have no idea what this thing is or is supposed to be, but I quite like it. I think it's cool, and I've got these cool little flat panels just here, and I think I'm going to do something with these. I've also got this cool ladder, and I just feel that, you know, a little bit of weathering here and there just makes something feel a little bit lived in. For this, and the first method is sponge chipping. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Rhinox hide. You can use Rhinox hide or use a darker colour, and then I've got some of this foam from the, I guess, an insert of a miniature carrying case. I'm going to roll it up, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab it into the Rhinox hide, get off any excess, and then all I'm going to do is just build it up on the ladder along things like the sides, where I guess you would grab the sides to climb up it, and the tops of steps where feet might have scuffed the paintwork off is a great way of simulating a little bit of realism, but also just adding a bit of visual interest, and it just makes everything look, I don't know, quite grimy and quite lived in, and I really love the weathering side of things. So this is a great first step to weathering up your scenery and miniatures. What you can also do, if you want some more defined chips and scratches and things like that, you can get a little brush, and just like I'm doing here, all I do is I literally tap the brush along the edge. You can do little scratches, dinks, anything like that, but I find just touching it along the tops of the ladder sections and things like that gives a really cool effect. Next up, we're going to do some cool little scuffy type chip things. This is really easy to do, and I do this a lot on miniatures, and as you can see I've got my rolled up bit of foam here and a pair of tweezers, and the application is going to be kind of exactly the same as we just did. I've got some Rhinox hide here, and all I'm going to do once again is I'm going to pop it open. I'm going to dab my sponge just to the end of it. I'm going to dab off any excess. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab it onto this section here. The reason why I always dab off the excess, as it's easier to build it up than it is to take it away. So I always err on the side of caution. You can add as little or as much as you want of this. However, I'm just going to show you on this little section here. So once that's done, all I'm going to do is get a colour that I would normally use for highlighting. In this case it was Celestra Grey on the edges, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dot just on some of those bigger sections where the colour's built up, just to simulate that it's actually paint that's chipped off underneath, and the light would just be catching the bottom of that chip. It's a really easy thing to do. You just need a bit of a good point on your brush, or, you know, maybe that's not what you're going for. You know, I think with scenery there's a lot of forgiveness. You know, you don't have to be as neat as possible, but I find a good point just to dab it, and there we go. Really easy to do. Next up, we can do things like scratches. Once again, this is incredibly easy to do. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint some little lines on this little section here. Try not to think about it too much, why this has happened, things like that. I find if you put too much thought into it, sometimes it doesn't seem as natural. So I'm just generally having a good time here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Rhinox hide, and same again, but we're doing effectively in reverse. I'm now painting the Rhinox hide towards the top of the highlight. Obviously this time we've done little lines and chips and dinks and things like that. If you wanted to push this stage a little bit further and you're feeling confident enough to do so, or you've got enough good point on your brush, you could get some lead belcher or some silver paint and actually dab that into the Rhinox hide to make it seem like there's an even deeper chip. But there we go. Two really great methods there. I love using these. Really helps a piece of scenery come to life. Now lastly, I've spoke about these before. These are things like washes. I use this sometimes. It's from Vallejo. It's really good. You can streak it, you can let it build up, but you can also get this effect with paint. For this, I like to use Scrag Brown. It sits somewhere between an orange and a light brown, but you can use any color you want. Obviously, if you want a really like dirty rusty color, go for something like Troll Slayer Orange, like really bright. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some on my brush, not too much. And I'm going to get some water, and I'm really going to water this down. Here I'm adding 2 brushfuls of water. And all I'm going to do, where things like dirt would gather from rain, I'm just going to paint it in. And effectively you've made like almost like a runny little shade. As you can see here, when this dries, it loses some of the aggressiveness and opacity of the paint and gives you a really cool subtle effect. Another good thing I like to do is paint it at the tops of things. And then what I do is I streak it downwards as if it's kind of like been in some sort of weird toxic rain and it's starting to like dribble down. But you can go as ham on this as you want. I really like doing this. I think it gives a really good dirty effect. And as you can see, those are all the methods combined together to create a really cool piece of dirty, grimy scenery. And it's just broke up those flat panels. Once again, have fun with this. There's no right or wrong way to do weathering, but I think some methods do look a little bit better than others. I will say, I've just realised the state of my hands. I filmed this straight after I'd done the oil washing, so I'm sorry I'm a little bit grubby in this video. But that's it. 4 easy ways of just upping your weathering game, or maybe a little bit of knowledge if you didn't know how to do it. But look, that's all from me in this one. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you all next time. God bless and take care.